Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you a video today to share my personal opinions on the Nike Magista Obra. Now, for those that are unfamiliar with this series, this is where the tech specs aren't as important, and I'm more so just sharing my straight up honest opinion on a product. Now, for those that enjoy this series, want to continue seeing it happen, be sure to leave your suggestions for which shoe you'd like to see featured next down below in the comment section of this video. But of course, in this video, we are going to be focusing on the Magista Obra. Now, this is a shoe that I do like. I have fun wearing, although if I'm completely honest with you guys, this is not my shoe of choice if we're talking about top-end models and I have the option of picking anything. What a lot of people tend to ask me about the Magista Obra and really all the mid-cut Flyknit models from Nike, of course I'm talking about the Superfly 4 as well as the Hypervenom Phantom 2, is which is my favorite of the three. And for those that don't know, there is actually a comparison video between all three of these shoes on my channel. I'll leave an annotation on screen. You can go ahead and check it out. But out of the three, if I were to pick my favorite, it would be the Nike Magista Obra, and I have answered that in the comment section to anybody who has asked that specific question. Now you're probably wondering, why is it my favorite? And the answer is pretty simple. I find that this is the most comfortable of the bunch based on what I like. You, again, might have different preferences, which means that you might find one of those other two shoes more comfortable for yourself personally. For me, the reason why I like how this shoe fits is it doesn't have quite as narrow or as slim a profile as the Phantom 2 or the Superfly, which, again, a little bit of a preference thing as opposed to one thing that is better or worse. And I like the actual Flyknit upper on this shoe. It's a little bit thicker, it's a little bit more dense, but it also is very, very flexible, much more so than what you're going to find with the Superfly 4, especially from right out of the box. And it does have a padded liner, which just gives it more of a leather-like sensation, which again is all about preference. If you want something that is as thin as possible, you're probably going to prefer the feel of the Superfly 4 or even the Hypervenom Phantom 2, even though that really isn't a Flyknit upper and doesn't compare to the other two. But nonetheless, if you want those thinner, that thinner type of feel, those two shoes might be your preference. Whereas if you want something with a little bit of padding but isn't overly thick either, the Magista Obra does have that on offer. I also find that this is the most sock-like of the two full Flyknit models from Nike. The Superfly 4 feels more structured, it fits tighter, it has the Brio cables, it has the internal support cage as well, and it just doesn't have that same super kind of sock-like softness on your foot, whereas the Obra definitely does do that or provide that type of feel a little bit better. I really like the external heel counter on the Obra, or just the two top-end Magista models in general. And in regards to the mid-cut design, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit different than the other two, but in all honesty, the fit in the heel and just the general feel of it is pretty much identical. So that's not something that's really going to change going from the Obra to the Superfly to the Phantom 2. The mid-cut thing really offers no performance benefits whatsoever. It's there as a visual element that gives the shoe a more distinctive look, and it does change the feel a little bit in terms of kind of giving you some attachment between the ankle area and the foot, in that it is technically one piece as it flows up your leg. But like I said, no tangible performance benefit to the mid-cut design or just the mid-cut models from Nike in general. I like the shape of the shoe. I really, really like the sole plate. It's a little bit stiff at first, but does become a little bit more flexible over time. Honestly, I wish they would have put a sole plate like this on the Nike Tiempo Legend 5, which, for those that don't know, is my personal favorite model from Nike. And the reasoning for that is just because it is a little bit thicker. If you are on slightly harder ground, stud pressure isn't going to be an issue, and it can be somewhat of a problem with the Legend 5 because of its very thin sole plate. And the stud pattern, actually, I really like on the Magista line as well, a little bit more so than the Superfly or the Mercurial and Hypervenom lines, just because, again, it's kind of a little bit more like the Tiempos, conical stud shape, fairly narrow profile, they dig in quite nicely, and it's just a good all-around stud pattern. The shoe is also pretty responsive. It's as light as you could want it to be. A lot of people think that the Magista Obra weighs significantly more than the Superfly 4 just based on how it looks, but in fact, the Superfly and the Obra are pretty much the same weight, so if that is your deciding factor between the two, it shouldn't be. And that's pretty much it. The one thing that I will say about the Magista Obra is that A lot of people assume that this is kind of the shoe to have if you're buying a Magista model, but the Opus is a very, very capable performer. It's kind of the alternate high-end shoe in the line. And in all honesty, guys, if I had to pick between the Obra and the Opus, and this is something I've said on camera before, I actually do prefer the Opus, mainly because I prefer the feel of the kind of traditional cut in the heel. It's just more comfortable, more familiar to me. But if you want that mid-cut design, the Obra definitely does have that on offer. And will give you the type of mid-cut sensation that you perhaps are looking for. And honestly, if I had the option to kind of make a hybrid Frankenstein shoe out of the two top-end Magista models, I think it would be really cool if Nike gave us the standard cut of the Opus, but the upper of the Flyknit Magista Obra. I think that would be a really, really cool shoe, but we probably will never see it. But that is pretty much it for my kind of personal opinions on the Magista Obra. It's not an overly controversial shoe. It's a very capable performer. It is, like I said, my personal favorite out of the three mid-cut models from Nike. Not really a go-to shoe for me, but one that I do enjoy wearing from time to time, and that's pretty much what I have to say about it. So let me know your opinions on the Magista Obra down below in the comment section. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Why or why not? If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Like I mentioned at the start of the video as well, if you have any suggestions for other personal opinions, shoes that you'd like to see featured in this series, leave them down below in the comments. And of course, I will take into consideration everything that you guys say. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.